An employee mindset and an entrepreneurial mindset are not the same. Today, I want to take a little time to talk about some distinctions in an employee mindset and an entrepreneurial mindset. I've had several clients who worked regular jobs who transitioned into their business, whether it was a service based business in a brick and mortar setting or as a coaching consultant. In some respect, wellness coaches, um, health coaches, all the things. And I want to talk about some distinct differences in the way an employee mindset thinks and processes things and an entrepreneurial mindset. For those of you who have a big goal or dream to one day become an entrepreneur completely, maybe you have a side hustle. I don't really like that word hustle, but it works for relativity and understanding what I'm talking about. Whether you have a side hustle, a business that you started on the side, and your goal is to eventually become a full time entrepreneur, here's some things I want you to think about. As it relates to an employee mindset, their sole mission is really under the umbrella of the company that they work for. Whatever that company's mission is most often the mission of someone with an employee mindset or an employee, because they have specific tasks and things that they have to do that are based on the mission of the company. When you are in an entrepreneurial position, your mind has to now become your mission, right? Which is attached to your vision for your company. I recently tweaked a blog post that I had done back in 2019 on vision. And vision is one of the staple portions or concepts that I work with my clients on. It's actually in our Renew concept because it's so important that as a business owner, you have a mission and a vision. It becomes the soundboard for what it is that you're doing. And when a person is coming from an entrepreneurial, I'm sorry, from an employee standpoint into their entrepreneurial space, they often have to shift that mindset from being underneath someone else's instructions to that of their own. Next is their creativity. So when you're in an employee situation, you don't have to be nearly as creative. You're still working within, again, the guidelines of someone else's creativity, of someone else's mission and vision. But as an entrepreneur, it is not only the time for you to tap into your creativity, but if you're tuned in and tapped in, your creativity will rise to the forefront when you step into that new identity, because shifting from the employee mindset to the entrepreneurial mindset does require a shift in your identity. And when that shift has been made and you're clear, when you have established that vision, your creativity steps in. The next is in risk taking. So, one of the things I understand in corporate, oftentimes when you have to have personal development, when you need a level of growth, all those things, the companies oftentimes are providing those classes and courses. Even when I owned a brick and mortar business and I had employees and staff, I offered in house personal development, or either I allowed my staff to go to different trainings outside of the business where my company paid for it. And so oftentimes when you have that employee mindset as opposed to an entrepreneurial mindset, the level of risk taking, it isn't there. You don't have to take as large of risk maybe to invest in yourself on a different level. But as an entrepreneur, yes, it is your goal. It is your sole responsibility to tap into personal growth development and getting the education and coaching and mentoring that you need. It is a part of you growing your business. I remember at a time where I was making these transitional big decisions in my business, because of things that were transpiring in my life. And it wasn't necessarily the best time in the logical standpoint of thinking to make large investments, right? And at that time, I had decided that I wasn't hiring anyone else because I was uncertain about what I wanted to do next. I didn't want to bring anybody on and then a year from now, they're looking for a different place of employment. I wanted to be certain about what it was that I was doing before hiring new people. So I wasn't hiring new people. And for what I had transpiring in my personal life, it just didn't seem like the most ideal time to invest four figures into something outside of what was absolutely necessary at the time. But I got on the plane, I hopped on a plane to a four-figure event, and I needed travel and room and board, all of those things at what would not have seemed to be, in a logical sense, or it's definitely in an employee mindset sense, to be a logical move to make. But it was the best, hands down, decision I made. It was where I was able to actualize what my next move would be, what I needed to do. It is why I'm coaching and consulting today. And so the level of risk taking that is required in the entrepreneurial space is simply different from the mindset of an employer. That four-figure investment that was made has paid me over and over and over and over again, right? The level of clarity I was able to receive from that investment is astounding, right? There's nothing that replaces being able to be clear on what your next move is. And so, just an example of how an employee mindset will think completely different from that of an entrepreneurial mindset. We understand when we tap into that entrepreneurial mindset that our risk, the level that we're willing to risk on, determine the level of reward. Next is um, we're limited in the employee mindset space of the thinking as it relates to creating money. Oftentimes you have a certain salary that you receive. You might get a bonus here or there, depending on what company you work for, the terms of your employment. But most of the time, what you're going to make is what you're going to make, and so there's a cap on what you feel is possible, right? But when you really tap into that entrepreneurial mindset, you know that there really is no limit. You know that you are the creator of your reality. You are the creator of the income that you bring in, and that as long as you understand that you are unlimited, that you are abundant, then you understand that your ability to create income and money is unlimited and abundant as well, as long as you become a match for whatever it is that you desire, as long as you have the capacity to hold that level of money, as long as you have the systems in place in your business that could hold that level of money. And what I mean by that, I was watching a influencer or creative share of when they went viral and how they actually had to shut their ability to access their business down because they weren't equipped for all the orders that were coming in. It was literally taking them weeks to fulfill the orders that had to be shipped out. And so at that point, they didn't have the capacity for going viral and doing it with a spirit of excellence. So when I say your ability to have the capacity for what you're calling in and what you're desiring, some of that is simply, do you have the systems in place that could even hold the things that you're wanting to bring in, or the level of money, the number of clients that you're desiring to serve? Is your business equipped to handle it without, I want to say, falling apart? And here's what I mean by falling apart. Is it going to be your downfall not having the capacity because of a lack of customer satisfaction? Because not because you aren't great, not because you don't have a great product, but because you simply didn't have the manpower or the systems in place to fulfill that number of clients or order. And so there is often a limited space of thinking in the creation aspect of money for an employee mindset as opposed to an entrepreneurial mindset. And I definitely want to touch bases on this here, and I've talked about this on numerous occasions, is when you're in an employee mindset, at the end of the day, most of what happens falls down on the company at the end of the day, right? But when you are operating your entrepreneurial mindset with your business, you realize that you are the leader, you're the head, and everything is falling from the top. And I often tell this somewhat funny revelation, but very powerful revelation that I got when I began to hire people. My first year of hiring, I was saying things to myself like, who are these people? Like, they don't really want to work. This new generation doesn't want to work, all the things. And I got this download one day that said, you hired these people. And it was like this revelation that was letting me know that there was something wrong in my hiring process. I was responsible. I hired these people. No one else hired these people that I said did not want to work, that I wanted to cast the fault on. But at the end of the day, it really fell on me, the leader, me becoming better at hiring, me having a better hiring system, me getting the knowledge I needed to hire differently. Second example of me being the leader, you being the leader, and you being responsible. I remember in 2007 and 8 when the world was going through, or our country even was going through uh, a recession, supposed recession. I remember listening to everything going on around me, all the fear, the news, the media, friends, even family, and I began to have that same fear. I met someone whose business was on the other side of the boulevard that my business was located on, whose business wasn't seeing any changes. It wasn't decreasing, it wasn't slowing down. And I had to take a look at myself. Like, in that moment, I had an aha moment that I was the problem. And as a leader, it is our responsibility, whether we know it or not, to find a new solution, not to complain about the solution. I am so grateful that I was able to have that mindset shift in that moment, because we went on to have our best year yet. I remodeled my entire facility during a recession. I hired my best staff during that recession. And in 2 years, we made more money than we had a total of 3 years combined prior. Like, we really soared because I changed my mind and I realized that it was really my responsibility to figure it out, right? I am the leader, and everything that is happening for me. So I devised a new strategy. I didn't change my plan, which was to grow and soar and continue to provide value. I changed my strategy. And so I wanted to share just some stark differences between the employee mindset and the entrepreneurial mindset. I listened to one of my clients talking about how what was before a hobby of hers, she didn't realize it was a hobby, but before working and joining 3D Success Academy, she didn't understand that she was operating her business like a hobby and not actually a business. And that is because she had some strategic mindset shifts to transpire while she was being coached and mentored through, branding her business, marketing her business, and growing her business, learning that there were some foundational things that qualified her as a business that she had not put in place. And she was coming from corporate America prior to that mindset shift. And I wanted to share with you today. I know there are many of you who have your business as a side hustle, who are wanting to transition and make it full time, and simply say, number one, there's a mindset shift that has to be made. And then there are some foundational things that you do differently as an entrepreneur than you would as an employee. That's my take on today. I have several ways that I can support you. Most of them will be down in the description or in the comments. A few that I normally mention that I think are absolutely amazing, depending on where you are, is 3D Success Academy for Women in Business. It allows you an entire year to work on your business at a self-paced opportunity with live coaching and support with me every single month. Then there's my VIP strategy days, which are super if you're wanting to create a vision for your business and map it out for the year and really look at growth strategies, whether that be marketing, hiring, whatever strategies that are going to be significant for your particular stage of growth. VIP day is absolutely amazing for that. And then there is my power hour, which is an opportunity to get a strategy session with me. And those power hours are considered renew money, meaning you can take what you invested from the power hour and upgrade to other maybe private opportunities to coach with me for longer extended amounts of time or different programs that qualify. Power Hour is absolutely amazing if you aren't quite sure where you need to go yet as far as having extended coaching and mentoring, but you know that you need a strategy and you need some direction. The Power Hour is an absolute amazing way to go. And for now, how do you feel from the things that I've mentioned that you may still be operating with an employee mindset? Now, I will say this, you can have owned a business for so long, and because our system in the Western culture has, for the most part, taught and created an atmosphere of an employee and not a creator, you can still have an employee mindset in some ways, unaware, even if you've been in business for many, many years, or corporate was never your thing. That's my take on today. I'm Tanya, your transformational business and mindset coach. Peace and abundance.